I appreciate everybody coming in on a Wednesday. Just quickly reviewing last weekend. I was really proud of our team. I've mentioned before, I'm really proud of how our team has been preparing to play. But we really emphasized starting fast, and we did a great job scoring on the first drive. Dane Olsson's effort and his mindset was exactly what we needed going into that game. A big catch that he had, and then he had the fumble recovery early. Those were really key plays for us. Our special teams was outstanding. Our average drive start average was a 36-yard line, and Nevada's was a 21. That's a 15-yard difference in drive start average. And I've been proud of the progress of our special teams. They brought it to my attention that ESPN ranked us the #1 special teams unit in the nation, which is just encouraging that we're doing a lot of good things right. And that's been a big part of our success the last month. The 60-yard field goal that Jordan Noyes had was really outstanding, and I had tremendous confidence in him. We were +2 in the turnover ratio, which is what we've been wanting to do for all season. Offense, again, took care of the ball. Defense went out and got a couple. And then our scoring offensively, being able to score over 32 points a game is a goal of ours. We scored on 6 of 10 possessions, and then converting on third downs was big on that. That was the reason we were able to do that. And then our defense holding them under 24, which is our goal. I can't tell you how proud I am of our backup players. Trevin Heil had to step up for Jacob Gardner when Jacob got hurt. Aiden Hector and Jet Vincent had to step up for Jack Howell and the guys we had in the back end. Jaylen Garter's still out. And then Brian Hansen for Patty Turner. I mean, those guys, their performances were critical to our success. And it's going to be important that we keep having our backups step up. It's that time of year where kids get hurt, people get nicked up, and, we've lost some good players. Obviously with Torrey, some of our other guys that have been out, it's important that these backups step up. What's important now? We're in a bye week. Our kids got to go back to practice. We've had 2 great practices and continue to improve and get better. That's really we don't feel like we've played our best football yet. That's really important. We just finished the third quarter. We won 3 straight in the third quarter, and now we're embarking on, the most important quarter of the season. We work all year long to be able to compete for a championship in November. And so we're in position to do that, and now every week becomes more and more important. We're in a playoff mode mindset right now to where every week we got to win in advance. And that's where we are. And so all of our focus is on getting better this week and then all on Wyoming next week. Couple of things about this game. We're getting ready to play a big rival, obviously, playing the border war, playing for the boot. 125 years this game's been played. And so it's a very important game. We got a big call out to all of our students to get their tickets, to show up early and really make a difference in this game. It could be our 4th sellout in Canvas this fall. And we just want to make this a memorable November, and our students and our home fans can really do that for us. I'm proud of our football team. We're doing a lot of things that have not been done around here in a long time. And one of those is off the field. We've got 64 players working on a 3-point average, and we got 28 players working on a 4.0, which has not been done around here before. And so the success is just not on the field, but it's off the field. It's everything that our kids are doing. It's all the hard work that they're putting in, being focused and trying to be their very best. And, I'm not a fortune teller, and I don't intend to be, but we've got a chance to do some really special things if we continue to be focused and continue to work the way that we have. And it's my goal that our entire staff and our team is their very best in the month of November. And so, there's an old saying, you always remember the games in November, and we want to be able to remember these next 3 games when the season's over with.
You did, when you first got here, you looked at past results of what you were taking over for the program, and they hadn't been good in October and November. So the last couple of years, turning that around a bit, how proud are you, and what does that tell you about what you've been able to set up with this program?
Yeah, it is very important, and we've always taken great pride in finishing strong and continuing to improve at the end of the year. You have 2 kind of teams. You have teams that kind of run out of gas at the end of the year, and you have teams that get stronger and get better. And we prepared all year for this month. We want to be in position to be in striking distance of a championship. And now we're in striking distance, and now we've got to put our foot on the gas. And we don't want to just maintain. We want to improve and be better. So everything that we've done and the way that we've practiced, the way that we've set up our yearly goals, our monthly goals, our quarterly goals, and our daily goals is to have the energy and the fortitude and the detail to really jump on the gas this time of year. So really excited about that. I think we're in a great spot. We're going to use this week to get some guys healthy, and hopefully we can get some guys back and be ready to roll by next Friday.
When you talk about how you're preparing better, you think, for games, it suggests that maybe it wasn't to your standard earlier. What was the change for you? What do you think triggered that switch for your team?
No, I just think that players got to make a decision to do the hard things, and we have more kids doing that. And to play well, you got to prepare. Not only do you have to practice, but you got to do the other things during the day that allow you to play good, which is studying film, getting in with your coaches, understanding the game plan in detail, and resting and recovering and preparing your body physically to play, but also your mind. I just like the mindset of our players the last month. We're showing up for a fight and a challenge and an opportunity to compete on game day. And we have more players that are ready to go, more players that are executing the details of what it takes to win. And we're playing complementary football in all 3 phases, and that's what it takes to win.
You guys have established a physical identity. You're obviously running the football, and you've talked a lot about the benefits. You've also mentioned that 32 points a game mark and wanting to create some more explosives. We've seen you guys really stretch the field of late. How close do you feel like this offense is to really breaking through to that next level? Because you've been really close on some of those explosives.
I think we're close, and it's a matter of execution and keeping drives alive. I think the third down conversions, we were better on third down, and that's why we scored 30-plus points, because we extended drives and we scored on more possessions. And so it's just a matter of that execution. I thought Braden was really good on some throws. He made some big throws. We had a long one to Jordan Ross that would have been another score, and the special play we had got called back because of holding, and so we're very close to being executing at a high level, and we just want to keep working that and being better at it. The formula for us though is been really good, and our special teams are a big part of that. And so we'll just keep working to refine that as we move on.
You talk about the special teams. There are a lot of programs that don't have a dedicated, special team specialist coaching it. What makes that so important for you to have?
I just think it's so critical. It's part of the game that can be the difference. And I think Tommy does a great job of showing our players where they can make a difference in the game, whether it's blocking a kick, which we've blocked some big kicks, field goals and punts this year. We've returned 2 punts for touchdowns. We scored on kickoff. I've never seen that before, what we did last week. But the kids are playing with great effort, and you got to give those kids credit on that play. Yeah, Nevada screwed it up, but our kids were busting it down there. I mean, Caleb Goody, if you watch every one of our kickoffs, he's been the first guy down the field every time. And he just never let up. And then Jace was right behind him. We had about 3 guys that could have scored that touchdown. It was because of the effort that they gave. And so it's just really important. I can't tell you, the drive start average is incredibly important this last game. Making them start and go the whole field, it really helped our defense. And then offensively, we had a shorter field. And, this is a time of year where weather is important. Wind is important. We strategically used the wind in that game, and it helped us. And I didn't even flinch with that 60-yard field goal. A lot of people called me and said, "God, what are you guys doing kicking it?" I knew Jordan could make it, and I knew that the conditions were leaning in our favor, and he kicked it fabulously. And so that's a huge weapon for us. When we can get the ball across midfield and we're in field goal range, that puts a lot of pressure on the other team. So all those things are important this time of year. We did a lot of things to change our football team and the way we practice and the way we work to get ready for this. And so now it's time for it to pay off, and we got to continue to press those issues.
You highlighted them a little bit already, but Dane Olsson obviously is one of those guys who's had a lot of hustle plays this year, blocking downfield for long touchdowns, block kicks. Obviously had a couple of big plays.
Yeah.
What can you say about a guy like him who, maybe doesn't come into the year with the biggest expectations, but just takes advantage of every opportunity?
Every team, you got to have glue guys. You got to have guys like that maybe on paper aren't the most talented, but they just show up and give you everything they have. And we've talked about that openly. I mean, it was our goal to start this season for everybody to be their very best. And that's really all we're focusing on every week. We're not focused on the outcome of games we're focused on being prepared to be your very best. And Dane is an amazing example of that. I told one of my old coaches from Iowa, Dan McCarney hit me up this week, and he asked about the game and the team, and I just said, "Coach, it's just a lot of fun. We got a bunch of unselfish guys, and it reminds me of our old days when we were in college, when we had a bunch of blue-collar guys that just fought for each other, didn't care who got the credit." And that's what Dane Olson's doing, and it's really making a big difference.
You mentioned Jace has a game, and he's only been on kickoff for twice. Jet comes in,
Yep.
Aiden switches positions. You're really starting with Tanner Morley having to fill in for Foster when he
Yep.
got hurt. What are you liking about the depth that you've wanted to develop on this program, that guys are ready to go when you're called upon?
Well, we have good young talent, and we're developing that talent, and that talent is having to show up and perform now. And we've always liked Jet. He just hasn't had a chance to play. Tanner, we love Tanner. A guy like Brian Hansen is a walk-on kicker who's finding a way to make a contribution. He's punting for Patty now. Aiden Hector's been a good player for us. Trevin Heil. How about Trevin Heil? Trevin Heil's a guy that just has continued to be unselfish, hasn't really gotten his opportunity, gets forced into probably the most critical position for us in the offensive line, and he just does his job, and he's ready to go. And so just really, as a coach, you're really satisfied to see those types of guys step up and perform well. And we talk about it all the time. I told the players last week, I asked them the question, I said, what has to be done in this game that won't get done unless you are prepared to do it? And that's responsibility, and every player has a responsibility to their teammates to be ready to play when their number gets called.
So does that tell you your depth is where you want it, or your depth is getting to where
It's
you want
getting
it?
better all the time, and you gotta, the depth in your offense and defensive line is really critical. I mean, if you're going to be a team that wins consistently, you better have big people that can play. And we didn't have that our first couple years, and so that's improved. But it's also a mindset of your program and turning the page to where, we had guys that were riding the season out here in the past, and we got guys that are ready to play and perform or wanting to perform now, and that's a huge difference in our program.
Do you have any updates on Jacob or Jack or Patrick?
Yeah, Jacob and Jack are still a little bit banged up, and we're fortunate we got a bye week this week, and hopefully by next week their situation may be different. But if we had to play today, they probably wouldn't play, and so we'll see how that goes.
Avery had some really strong running late in the game in those 4 minutes you've talked a lot about.
Yeah.
What was impressed you most about him as the season's worn on and what he's doing?
Yeah, I think we've improved as a team in those at the end of the game situations, and I was really proud of that last drive when we got the 4th down, we got the 3rd down. Avery had some hard runs. We converted on the 4th down when Braden threw the ball. And we ended up getting a field goal, I think, at the end there. But that was a 4-minute drill. We've been working on that all through training camp. And, you got to be able to finish the game with the ball in your hands and take the air out of it for the other team. And we've improved in that. And I think our defense has improved at the end of the game as well. So we've been working on those things. Was really proud of it. And, there's a lot of statistics in football that have changed since these new timing rules. College football is becoming more like pro football. And, once teams get leads, it's important that you can control the game and the physicality of the game and keep the other team out of the end zone. And so that was big. I was proud of how we did that in the second half.
Is Avery's running style almost I guess, fit perfectly for your November type goals?
No doubt. He's physical. And I tell you, Jaylen, the young one, Jaylen, is a lot like Avery. And so, no, we have to – we're built for November right now, the way that we're playing. And we're built for the weather and the wind and whatever comes. And so I reminded the team of that today. And, we're just like every team. I mean, we got kids from the South. We got kids from warm weather places. They got used to practicing in this weather and playing in this weather. And we do it all year round. In the winter we do it. In the spring we do it. So it's just what November is in Colorado, and we have to be prepared for it.
You look at this almost as a double-barrel week because, like you talked about, it's a big rivalry week, 125 years of this. But this is a chance for you, I think, first time since 2015 to beat both Air Force and Wyoming in the same season.
That's big.
That puts a little bit more on it. It's another trophy game. So
Yeah.
how do you stress that to your team while you're also looking at just win in advance this week?
Yeah, it was part of our preseason goals was to beat our rival, and we were able to do it with Air Force, and now the border war and the boot is really important, and so and to get them both first time since 15 is important. We've done some things that haven't been done here in a long time, and we want to be a team that does some things that never been done here, and so our goals are high, and like even last week our goals were bigger than just winning that game last week, and so it just continues. And when you play good this time of year, every game becomes more important, and so we're learning to focus at that level and prepare ourselves at that level and to be hungry at that level.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.